Hey everyone, it's time for another round of Keek Ray's Customs, and here to kick us off, we have some troublesome trucks that have been repainted courtesy of Turtles and Thomas. Now, I don't know the exact name of what I want to call these guys. They're technically dairy cars, but as you can see in front of you, they're going to be able to do a lot more than just haul some dairy cans around. So anyway, I'm just calling them for right now, just calling them repainted troublesome trucks. By the time this video comes out, I'll think of something a little bit more special. But like I said, these were done by Turtles and Thomas. I want to give a big thanks to him because these turned out awesome. And if you've been watching my series recently, you will notice that I use both the repainted and the original versions behind these gray ones here pretty equally in my series. I like to, interchange them, swap them out here and there because I do believe they are some really cool pieces of merchandise. Although they are mostly plastic, they have a lot of uses in the ThomasWoodenRailway line, and that's what I'm going to show off here. So, without further ado, I think we'll start off with the original dairy car, which was released right around 2013, 2014. It was released in, you could technically call it a 3-pack. It was the Hero Sticky Spill, excuse me. And you can call it a 3-pack because it is Hero and his tender and a troublesome truck. Now the Hero model is cool because it features Hero with a sad expression and he has milk splattered all over him. But the thing that attracted a lot of people, myself included, was the troublesome truck that came in this pack. It was totally unexpected and it took me by surprise. I was like, oh great, another generic troublesome truck. Oh wow. Look what we have here. We have a troublesome truck with an angry face. And yes, this is plastic right here. But I tell you what, the detailing here and the angry face just makes it all better. All of a sudden, this became one of my favorite packs that was released by Fisher-Price and Mattel. I cannot tell you guys how many of these I went out and bought because of this troublesome truck right here. I'll talk about this more at the end of the video, but it was kind of interesting. The troublesome truck was so nice, and then the piece of cargo that they gave you was a little bit of a letdown. Yeah, I know it has to do with the episode that the pack is based on, but as you guys are going to see, these troublesome trucks can carry something a lot more impressive than just this container of milk here. So this was pretty nice, and what ended up making this deal really, really great was, yes, it was sold in stores for a while, but then I've talked about discount stores a lot in my ThomasWoodenRailway unboxing videos. There were a couple of stores near me that had these packs going for like $15. Sometimes I saw them as low as $10. And considering this was like a 3-pack basically, it was selling for like $30 or $35 when it was released. So all of a sudden we get a massive price drop, and obviously I was not interested in the Sticky Spill Hero because I already had one of those, and honestly I think I just resold all of my extras on eBay. But I gradually started to accumulate more and more of these blue trucks, and that's cool and all because the expression is worth it. But then a couple of people started repainting these, including Turtles and Thomas, and I was like, ooh, you know what, that's a really smart idea. It's plastic up here, so maybe that makes it easier to paint, maybe it makes it harder to paint. I'm going to guess it might be a little bit harder because you have some lining to do right here. But basically a couple of people came along, they started repainting these, and then they were looking really, really cool. So I just wanted to show off. It's technically called a dairy car underneath, but what you guys are going to see, these are just kind of like troublesome trucks or cargo cars on steroids, basically. So here we have a repainted troublesome truck, aka former dairy car, that was painted over by Turtles and Thomas. You can still see the blue original paint underneath, but Turtles and Thomas has come along, and basically we have a, I guess you call it like a gray coat, and then like the lining here on the planks of the truck is now black. And this is just awesome. It's amazing what some paint can do. Now, I was not a big fan of the blue color. You know what the blue color reminded me? This will be kind of an obscure reference, but way back in the model series, there was an episode where I think Thomas got some new trucks and James got some new trucks, and I think Thomas's trucks were painted blue to match him. And really, when these trucks started to appear, I was like, oh, somebody could come along and buy up a bunch of them and recreate that episode. But as you can tell, it's a very forgettable episode. I can't even remember what it's called. And I don't even think, the funny part, that was from the model era where really Hit Entertainment shied away from using troublesome trucks. So it wouldn't even be accurate. You'd have to take the faces off these trucks, which would be really, really hard because the faces are actually part of the plastic mold, I think. So this looks really nice. As you guys could tell, I had like your normal stock standard piece of large cargo here, and it fits super nicely. I actually say it's a tighter fit than your normal cargo car. Cargo's cars, they have some room to move around, but this is a tight fit, but it's very, very satisfying. And that's why when these trucks were released and I saw the milk barrel, I was like, oh no, they're gonna have kind of a funky shape or something like that. But when you stick various pieces of cargo in these, I got another one right here. Oh, you just, these trucks start to come alive almost, and it's really, really cool. In the back, you can kind of see I have a couple of different versions of the blue trucks. Nothing has been done to these guys. Well, actually, something has been done to this one. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but this is another piece of cargo, and it just fits right in there. And so it just depends on whatever your story calls for. If you just need some generic packages, oh, we'll throw one of these in there. Oh, but this is part of the flying kipper now. All right, we got some fish in there. That's really nice. And then in the back there, I'm not going to bring him out because he's kind of packed behind these other trucks. That is a cargo piece from like an open container cargo car. It was a Thomas 2-pack. I think it was called Thomas's Castle Delivery, but it came with a special Thomas and like a special zoo car type cargo car to keep that this piece of cargo from sloshing around. But these cargo cars, or I should say these dairy cars, which act as cargo cars, are so big that you can, my point is you can throw a whole bunch of stuff in there and it really doesn't matter. So let me bring up the next troublesome truck I have right here. I had Turtles repaint 3 of these for me. So I have 3 of the original blue ones. Nothing's been done to those. And then I sent him 3 extras that I had. So at the bare minimum, I went out and bought, I had the Hero Sticky spill pack. I had one of them already. So at the bare minimum, I went out and bought like 5 more, maybe even 6. I can't remember. But yeah, I love this face, and I love this style of cargo car or troublesome truck, whatever you want to call it. Little bit of a, a kind of a double feature here. We got the angry face. First off, we have a nice truck where you can substitute some things. Then you have a face, and on top of it, it's not just like your normal classic happy face. I should feel very thankful that we got these for a while. But the problem is that the troublesome trucks being released, they all started to look like this after a while. I think there was a troublesome truck that had like a shocked face, and yeah, that was about it. Yeah. We had shocked and we had happy, but to get a grumpy face, especially when in recent years the toy companies making Thomas toys have shied away from anything remotely negative, like we've changed Diesel 10, to introduce a cargo car like this that has not your stock standard face on it. In fact, it's like an angry face. I cannot imagine kids being terrified of this face. It's like, no, it's a grumpy, troublesome truck, and that's what they look like. And that's just completely awesome to me. So I have the piece of cargo from Lorry 1. I just wanted to show it off. Obviously it's a much bigger space, but look at that. You can throw some stuff in. And then in sort of an interesting twist, you can even throw some things in there that aren't related to the Thomas Wooden Railway line. I just have some pieces of rock right here, so if you want to turn these into quarry cars, look at that. It looks completely normal. That's what's great. I briefly showed off the chocolate car I have right here. This is pretty cool. It comes with a piece of chocolate, but it has this triangular design. So yes, I could throw some pebbles in there, but it just wouldn't be the same. There's not a whole lot of movement. And since it's a chocolate car, it's like, why would this have rock in it anyway? But this is really cool. The fact that there's no writing on the side, just leaves it up to your interpretation. It leaves it up to the, if you can call it, the player, somebody who's playing with these toys, leaves it up to whatever that person wants to do. And like I said, maybe you introduce pieces of cargo, and this is, I don't know, let's just say like recycled material, and this is, the Sodor Shipping Company, and then we have like the piece of, the fish cargo back there. There's just so many options, and that is spectacular to me. This is exactly what we needed more of in the Thomas Wooden Railway line right before it pretty much went defunct. But I just wanted to show off, I mean, if you have pieces of coal, or, you know, you want to throw something, you know, totally random in there, like a piece of track or people or whatever, basically these trucks have such a wide area where you can, you know, throw stuff into that. It's, like I say, it's completely up to your interpretation as to what you want to put in there. Let me back these up just a little bit so we can get one in the center. There we go. So like I said, you can, it's just up to your interpretation of what you want to do. And yeah, I guess I'll show off one last thing. Like I said, all these trucks, and before I get there, you know, I'm talking about the repainted ones because they're more of your stock standard, you know, normal troublesome truck color. But these blue ones aren't bad just the way they are. It was only because I had a couple extra ones that I sent them off to Turtles and Thomas to be repainted. But what makes these so nice is since they don't have like lettering or anything on the side, these can be anything you want. And I just mentioned it, you know, turn it into fish cargo or, you know, important cargo, or wherever you want. But this was something I actually did before the video. I actually, when you look on the inside here, there are some screws on the bottom, and I got to thinking, you know what? Let's see what happens when you pull this thing apart. But the one thing you're going to notice that these screws have a triangular head to them. So what you need is a screwdriver with a triangular head to go with them. So the reason why it's reversed on the bottom is because I took it apart, and then when I put it back together for this video, I actually put it back on the wrong side. Oh, you can start to see what's happening here. So I just thought, you know what, since this is kind of a custom engine review, let's just go a little bit deeper and see what's going on here. So this is what this truck looks like when it's taken apart. And you know, the fact that there's no like major, you know, drilling screws used or anything like that. Yes, these are fancy screws because you need a triangular head to remove them. Really, you know, doesn't complicate things. I think I went on Amazon and bought like a 5-pack, and it comes with all different size triangular heads for stuff like this, because I just got tiring of when you wanted to take stuff apart. It just got tiring after a while to be like, oh, I wish I could do that, but I don't have the right screwdriver. So anyway, that's how I was able to get this part apart, basically. But it's a very simple setup. Look at this. We just have your wooden chassis. It's kind of interesting. It's like an unfinished look on the bottom there. I wish it would focus. It's just too big. Now it's focusing on the face off to the side here. So anyway, I'll show it right to the camera. And is it going to focus? Anyway, you can kind of see basically it's not painted right here. Sorry, it's not focusing. There we go. But yeah, we have a little bit of stuff that's not painted here. I don't believe that is like wear and tear, because I don't know what would be rubbing on the bottom here, because, you know, it sits up a little bit. But I just wanted to show off the chassis here because I thought it was kind of interesting. So if these were still being made at a fairly consistent rate, this would be a very easy way to not only get some bodies of troublesome trucks, but then also some chassis pieces here. And then the chassis piece itself, like I said, it's plastic, and years ago I would have criticized Mattel and Fisher-Price for using plastic, and you know, some things never change, but I would actually criticize Fisher-Price and Mattel for doing a lot worse things than using plastic in their Thomas Wooden Railway line, if I can be honest. But it's kind of cool. It's like you stick them on the side of the track here, and it's like, what happened? Oh, I was being a naughty truck, so their top hat took my wheels away, or something like that. But anyway, we'll try this. I'll try to put this back together. It's going to be hard though, because I have to line up. There we go. They're lined up. I'll try this. I'll give it a shot. First off, what I should have done, I need to put the screws in here. That's the important thing. You can't lose the screws. Oh, here it is. I was going to say I might have just lost one. Can't lose the screws, otherwise this whole thing falls apart. But I'm going to line this up really quick. And I think I'll get the first one in, just so I'm able to... I hope that's right. Ooh, that feels really tight. That doesn't feel too good. I hope I did that right. It's probably not going to focus either. Yeah, something's a little bit off about that one. I think, well, I tried to do it on camera. Ooh, that one works. Oh, well, maybe. Okay, so that front one screws in really, really nicely, and then I just screwed it in until it's as tight as can be. So the back one here, I will probably have to take out it's just not fitting. You can kind of see how it's beveled up a little bit. I just didn't get the hole lined up, but look how easy that was. And if you guys remember, when the truck was facing this way earlier, the chassis was like this, and so now I have reversed it so that it can couple to a troublesome truck like this. But if you have a bunch of these and you wanted to like put some trucks the wrong way like they used to in the TV series, that's like a really simple way to do it, is you just undo the chassis there and you start having troublesome trucks facing random ways. So let's see. Oh yeah, I had the fish cargo in there. So yeah, I just made that little tiny detour because I didn't want this video to be super short or anything. You know, as just a quick reminder, you know, the blue trucks you see in the background are licensed Fisher-Price Mattel products. The ones in front have been repainted by Turtles and Thomas, and in my series I kind of like to alternate between the two because the blue ones are cool, and I do believe, considering they were made by an actual company, they do deserve some recognition. Because, you know, Fisher-Price gave us a lot of cool stuff. They also gave us a lot of bad stuff. But in terms of rolling stock, and especially troublesome trucks, which I am just absolutely the biggest fan of, I really want to give props to them. This is something that they really nailed down. And I remember talking about this to a couple other people when, you know, these toys were still being produced. And I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if Fisher-Price or Mattel did like an accessory 3-pack where they did like 3 troublesome trucks in a pack, and they all came in different colors with different expressions. So like they included, you know, the blue one with the grumpy face, and then there was like a second one who was green and he had like a silly face, and then there was like a third one that was orange and had like a sad face or like a super angry. I remember talking to some people about that, and I was like, those things would have flown off the shelf so quick. I probably would have bought like 10 of them, just me alone, and I know there would have been other people out there who would have bought them as well. So troublesome trucks, I've always been a fan of them, but anytime you can modify them or upgrade them, you know, it just kind of sweetens the deal. So once again, these custom troublesome trucks were made by Turtles and Thomas. I want to give a big thank you to him. I believe I showed them all off. Did I show the bottom of this one? I don't think I did, but yeah, that one was made by Turtles and Thomas too. Accidents happen now and again. There we go. So now we have some more gravel on the ground. But anyway, guys, hopefully I've been able to show you how versatile these trucks are. And honestly, I think this is something you could totally get away with using Sharpies or permanent markers. Paint is definitely going to last longer. The Sharpies are going to wear off if you got your greasy hands all over them. But if it's something you just wanted to try, I would recommend, you know, on where the black is, like the planks are and everything, just take a black Sharpie or a permanent marker and come along and just color them in and see how they look. And if you don't like it, I think you use hydrogen peroxide. No, you use rubbing alcohol. If you apply that to like a Q-tip and you come along and get over it really quick after you've freshly applied your Sharpie, your permanent marker on plastic, it takes it off pretty much right away. So that's kind of a nice way to get rid of all that. If you happen to mess up, if your Sharpie goes astray and you color something you don't want it colored, that's just a really quick way to fix your mistakes. When I detail up my Adventures engines, that's what I use if I mess up the buffers or something like that. You just come along really quick and it takes it off right away, and then you get to start over. So I know I say that acting like these trucks are available everywhere, and I know they aren't because of the way, you know, the Thomas Wooden Railway range has gone. But anyway, if you ever come across one of these on eBay, or even if you already have a couple, you want to try something, you know, like I said, you just try it, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, you just keep them blue like the ones in the background, and they still look excellent. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully I've showed off all the different ways that you can combine different versions of troublesome trucks and the various loads of cargo that we have, and you can kind of turn them into something really, really cool. So anyway, I think I'll leave this video at that. Thank you once again to Turtles and Thomas for painting these up and making them look nice and slick. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm always happy to hear your thoughts and, you know, what else you guys have on your mind. So everybody, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next custom Thomas Wooden Railway model video.